So, March Madness has ended, and the NBA playoffs, well, mostly fixed. Not entirely. Let's talk about that. All right, welcome to this episode of Basketball Street Beat, episode 13. I'm your host, John Behrens.
And I'm Joshua Perkins.
All right, so the Cavaliers have officially claimed their first title in program history. But before we get to that, let's recap the Final Four some. So Virginia was able to beat Auburn on a controversial call, which this tournament seems to be full of.
Well, I mean, that's what happens every year, especially when the game gets down to the line. And basically, one of the Cavaliers players went for a three-pointer, and there was a foul with, I want to say, 0.6 seconds left in the game. And they were able to nail down all three free throw shots, and it ultimately eliminated Auburn out the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. There always just seems to be a controversial call around this time.
I mean, while we're on the Virginia Cavaliers, I mean, though it was a controversial call that got him in to the national championship game, but let's talk about the Cavaliers having the most impressive turnaround in the history of the NCAA tournament. After last season being a 1 seed and being knocked off by a 16 seed, which was the UMBC Retrievers last season, in blowout fashion, they turn around and they win the whole thing the next season. Which, I mean, credit goes to their coaching staff for doing such a great job with these guys. And also, one of the guys that were able to carry them throughout the tournament, who was a tournament MVP, Kyle Guy, who is a 6'2", 175-pound junior. I want to say out of Indianapolis. It just goes to show how good the Cavaliers really are. And they're already set to be favorites for the national title in 2020 by the Vegas books.
Yeah, I mean they've been a pretty impressive team for the most part. I can agree with that. But okay, the other game was Michigan State versus Texas Tech, and Texas Tech pretty much handled Michigan State pretty easily, if my memory serves me right.
Yeah, I mean Texas Tech been pretty much handling everybody in the tournament.
But then they end up losing to Virginia by 11.
By 8.
By 8? Okay,
the game went in overtime. The score was 85-77.
Okay, I was working throughout the duration of the game, so I don't know.
But I mean, the Texas Tech Virginia game just went neck and neck. It was going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until I want to say maybe the final minute and a half of overtime. And it just goes to show how talented both teams are. Like Texas Tech, they have a good shot at probably going back next season just because of how good they did this, how well they did this season.
Oh, yeah. So even though there wasn't really like a whole lot of lower seeds upsetting bigger seeds this year, it was still a pretty fascinating March Madness, with the Final Four having, let's say, 3 teams that had never won a championship, and so.
Yeah, I mean the only team that has experience in this setting was Michigan State, led by Hall of Fame coach Tom Izzo.
Yeah, and well, it's not too big a surprise to see Michigan State there. I expected to see at least one blue blood in the Final Four, but the fact that we got to the championship title game with 2 teams to have never won it before, which pretty much guaranteed somebody would be winning it for the first time, is pretty impressive.
I mean, that's like kind of like a dream scenario, like 2 teams that never won a title. And so, like those 2 teams are going to be at each other's necks because they want to get that first national title to bring back home to their school. And so you knew there was going to be a lot of emotions all over the place. But it was an amazing season for college basketball. An amazing March Madness. We saw some upsets. We saw a lot of blue bloods go down. And I think this year we saw the emergence of a possible new blue blood, the Virginia Cavaliers. I mean, as well as they've been doing the past few years, it's safe to say that Virginia has emerged themselves as a blue blood.
Yeah, the Cavaliers have come on strong the last few years. I know that they were the number one overall seed last season, only to get upset by UMBC, which hate to say it, but that was just kind of hilarious.
And UMBC came close to going to the Sweet 16 because they were at Kansas State's neck in the second round.
Yeah, they they were, and well, there seems to be a gap closing between the smaller schools and the bigger schools.
And by the way, also while we're on tournament wins, congrats to the Texas Longhorns for winning the NIT. The NIT is pretty much a consolation tournament for teams that got snubbed at the NCAA tournament, which also results in Shaka Smart most likely saving his job because he has been on the hot seat this season because he has not lived up to expectations as the Texas Longhorns head coach. For those who keep up with basketball, Shaka Smart, legendary figure at Wichita State. He led Wichita to lots of success. And Wichita State, back when Shaka Smart coached the Shockers, Wichita State was probably the last team you wanted to play in the NCAA tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And Shaka Smart turned him into a mid-major powerhouse. And for him to adapt from going mid-major to being at a Power 5 conference, it's still a big adjustment to him. But, I mean, it's been a couple of seasons already. It's time for him to really step up his game. So now, like, going to next season, he has no excuse of why the Longhorns can't make the NCAA tournament. So he secured his job for at least another season, but he has to show that athletic department a lot more.
Yeah. Okay. So now, looking back at the season has been pretty much a little bit overshadowed by scandal and controversy. What do you have to say about it as a whole?
Talking like the FBI bribery cases and
yeah, the whole. I mean, that just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
I say it. I'm say it like this. There's a lot of possibilities out of this one. One, it's a true, genuine, as far as like a valid case, or two, money stopped being ran under the table, which results in the FBI holding up their end of the blackmail to go ahead and take a lot of these coaches down. Yeah. I mean, if I'm wrong, I stand to be corrected, but I mean, that's how a lot of these coaches and a lot of schools don't get in trouble, because of money being slid under the table to either the NCAA or the FBI. That way somebody can shut their mouths. But I guess money stopped being ran under the table, where the funds got low, or they just got tired of doing it, and now the FBI is cracking down.
Oh, no, it's like this is officially an FBI investigation, and that has never been the case prior, at least not in a long time, if ever. I don't have any recollection of previous FBI cases into like sports, but this has been going on for decades.
Yeah, it's just these coaches now, just like the FBI, I guess they got new technology, a lot of new resources to where things become more convenient to them. It becomes a lot easier to, catch the perpetrators, to catch the suspects in whatever case they may be doing. And like I said it before, and you were right, it's been going on for decades. It's just the guys that got caught in this were just dumb enough to get caught.
Well, I think stuff like the invention of cell phones and the such have really played a role in that, because it's a lot easier to wiretap people now.
Oh, definitely. I mean, do you know how easy it is to hack into somebody's account now in today's generation?
Mm-hmm.
Like just a simple snapshot, and all your information is to somebody you have completely no recollection of, or no idea or memory of. And that's something that's pretty scary. Because I've been wondering, how did Will Wade get caught, and how did he get wiretapped? I didn't even know he was being looked at by the FBI, and then I just had to remember this is the generation that we live in today.
So we actually have one of the parents, one of the actors, officially plead guilty in the parents' pay-for-play part of this scandal.
One of the actors?
Yeah, how they uncovered as a part of this the celebrity parents that were paying university coaches to put their kids on the team. Even though they weren't, some of them hadn't even played the sport before.
That's just stupid. I mean, if you haven't played a sport before, why would you even Just go to school. Ain't nothing wrong with not being a college athlete. I mean, I wasn't a college athlete. I was thinking about being one, but I had classes, I had military, ROTC, and all that bull jive, and like you look at a prime example. I mean, I wouldn't say a pay for play. Well, kind of. P. Diddy's son, I want to say Justin Combs. I want to say that's his name. He was a safety at UCLA, and from what a lot of teammates said, he barely showed up to practice, and Coach Moore even said, I mean, the guy was even really much good enough to, as far as, playing on the team. Yeah. As far as being in that capacity.
So what do you think about Michael Avenatti accusing Nike of paying Zion Williams?
I think, to be honest, I'm pretty sure Nike knows the rules that you cannot pay these college athletes.
Well, you would think Adidas would have known that too.
True. And though it's very tempting to pay Zion Williamson because Nike really wants to bring Zion Williamson to their team. And it's very tempting to pay him $10, $20, $30 million because that's just how good he is. I mean, Zion Williamson is an animal. I've never seen a basketball player of his genetic makeup at 6'8", weighing 285 pounds. He's bigger than Rob Gronkowski. And get this, Zion Williamson is only 18 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, still, rules are rules.
True, but I mean, I wouldn't, because Nike's been around for years, and I mean, Nike, they didn't pay for. LeBron signed with Nike after he got drafted, so that's a different setting. That's a different scenario.
The whole LeBron thing, like you said, it was after he was drafted, and plus LeBron never went to college.
True, but I mean, I don't think Nike paid Zion Williamson because I'm pretty sure that they are strict with the rules no matter how good he is, and I'm pretty sure Zion is aware of the rules. Now, trust me, if I feel that if Zion if Zion found a way to get away with it, he would try and find a way to get away with it. But, playing for a guy like Coach K, he makes sure his players stay out of trouble.
I don't know. We'll see where this investigation goes. I will not be surprised one bit if Nike is also involved in this.
I mean, I think that the accusation could probably be out of pure jealousy of, Zion Williamson going to Nike. I mean, you never know. I mean, people, they like to post stuff up, out of spite and then just in pure jealousy.
Now, while we're on the topic of sponsorships and a little bit of a different topic that this does not have to do with pay-for-play, but Patrick Mahomes was not able to dress out for the Texas Tech game. Or support his team per se, because he was sponsored by Adidas and they're a Nike team.
Well, I think Texas Tech is an Under Armour team.
That was it. They're Under Armour. That's right.
Oh yeah, because when you're sponsored by a brand, you're not allowed to sport another brand's clothing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was looking at a picture on social media with Patrick Mahomes, and he had a Texas Tech shirt on. And of course, the shirt had the Under Armour symbol. So what he did, he grabbed some tape and wrote Adidas on it and covered up the Under Armour symbol. And they were like, well, that's creative, Mr. Mahomes. But what a way to stay on your feet, to think on your feet.
Mm-hmm. But that's funny. The fact that he couldn't, he had restrictions on whether or not, just how much he could support Texas Tech because of the brand he's associated with.
But I mean, come on, man. It's Patrick Mahomes' alma mater. I mean, that's where he went to school, and that's where he has a lot of memories. And he holds Texas Tech near and dear to his heart. Why not at least give him an exception just one time, just for this one game? Texas Tech is in their first national championship game in school history, and Patrick Mahomes has been waiting to see the day that it happens. So why not just give him, a one-time pass? Be like, okay, you can do it. I mean, just give him a one-time pass. No one's going to think anything of it. Under Armour's not going to think anything of it. Why should y'all? That's how I feel about it. But I mean, Patrick Mahomes, he found a creative way to support his team, so he grabbed that tape, wrote Adidas on it.
Well, yesterday marked the end of college basketball season 2018-2019. I expect a very interesting, active offseason with all these investigations.
Oh, there's gonna be a lot of stepping downs, a lot of firings.
These are,
Lord.
these are going to go on for a while. These investigations are far from over.
All I gotta say in this off season, grab your popcorn and sit back and watch the fireworks.
Oh, absolutely. Anyway, well, that about wraps up college basketball for the season. So we're going to transition now over to the NBA after this. All right, welcome back. NBA playoffs are all but set, and well, it's not surprising that the East still has an open position.
And there are 3 teams that are vying for the final spot, which are the Detroit Pistons, the Miami Heat, and because the Magic already locked up a spot.
Yeah, Magic, Charlotte,
and the Charlotte Hornets. And there's one game separating all 3 of those teams.
Typical East.
Yeah, exactly. The East has always been very tight, and it just shows the grit and competitiveness of the Eastern Conference. Though they will not defeat the Western Conference unless there's a big bully of the East that can come up and challenge the Warriors. But I mean, very competitive. And also two playoff droughts were ended in the East: the Brooklyn Nets and the Orlando Magic, who have not been to playoffs in God knows how long.
I think it was 12 years for the Magic. Yeah, it had to be because last time they made it, they had Dwight Howard.
That is true. So I mean, much progression going on for both teams. So, but though they're going to run into some buzzsaws in the first round, big ups to them making the playoffs, which is an extra step into their progression as they try and make their way up to a powerhouse, especially for the Nets. And they made the right move by trading for D'Angelo Russell, because he's turned into a guy that he's young, he's aggressive, and the man can ball. So the Nets are definitely doing what they can to build the franchise around him, and they've been doing a pretty good job.
So, gosh, good old LeVar Ball.
Oh, I haven't heard that name in a while.
Well, it's only a matter of time before he opens his mouth.
He always opens his mouth. I mean, he said that he can beat MJ one-on-one with his hand tied behind his back.
Yeah, most recently he just said that D'Angelo was better than Zion.
Okay, all right. So LeVar, you out of pocket. First off, I would not compare those two. And all right, and here's my reason why. Because of the positions. I can see. All right. Let's make a scenario. Say if you wanted to compare D'Angelo Russell to, let's just say, I want to say maybe R.J. Barrett or Cam Reddish, and their guards out of Duke. I'm not gonna compare a guard because D'Angelo Russell, he's a point guard. He's a one. Sometimes you want to put him at a two.
D'Angelo Russell?
He's a guard. He's not a forward.
I'm talking about Ball, man, his son.
I thought you were talking about D'Angelo Russell.
No,
it sounded like you said D'Angelo, not LiAngelo.
Oh, okay, LiAngelo. Excuse me.
All right, disregard that.
So
All right, because you threw me totally off course with that one. It's all good though. So he's saying that LiAngelo Ball is better than Zion.
Yeah.
All right. Though they're both forwards, and I'm not going to doubt that LiAngelo is a good basketball player. LeVar, I just want to let you know that if your son went up against Zion Williamson, your son will be brutally assaulted on that court. I'm talking about oh man, it's your son will be tortured in the paint. Zion Williamson. I'm not going to compare anybody to Zion Williamson. Why would you even? I mean, first off, Zion Williamson didn't get kicked out of college. Zion Williamson is actually a draft prospect, and he's actually going to get drafted. And he doesn't need to play in some makeshift league that you created. So if you want to go ahead and compare, you might want to sit down. I know that you love your son and you have bias because that's your son and all that, and that's cool. That's good. You should always be there for your son and motivate him and hype him up and keep his confidence up, and that's good. But don't sit there and compare him to the the genetic freak known as Zion Williamson, because he's a genetic freak. That's the best way to put it. 6'8", 285. What other basketball player do you know with that type of makeup?
Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaquille O'Neal's over 7 foot tall, though.
I know, but you said comparisons. I'm just kind of.
Yeah, I mean that's
Charles Barkley.
But that's a totally different era. That's a totally different domain. I'm talking about now, like in today's league, in today's era.
Giannis.
Giannis is taller than Zion, but he weighs a lot less.
Okay.
Like Giannis is pretty skinny. Like I'm talking about, because usually when you see a lot of these players at 6'8", 6'9", they'll weigh like maybe what the most you'll see will be maybe 230, 240.
Yeah.
Zion weighs almost 300 pounds, and he's only 6'8". When I say only 6'8", I mean you have a lot of players that maybe 6'9", 6'10", 6'11". Like I went to school with a guy named
Big Show.
Now you're talking about 400 pounds. Man.
I'm just shooting.
I
here, man.
I went to school with a guy that was 6'11", weighing just under 200 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, good Lord. But anyways,
I don't know. I'm just shooting blindly here. Just naming big men.
You want to name like big men, or we could talk about Viscera. You don't remember Viscera?
No.
You don't remember? Dude, you're naming big guys. I try to name some big ones. Mark Henry.
Yes.
Now we're just naming wrestlers. I mean, by the way, WrestleMania. By the way, they just had WrestleMania this past Sunday.
This has nothing to do with basketball, by the way.
I know. We just kind of off course right now because I mean, we're gonna bring a lot more when basketball playoffs start up. But yeah, so.
Yeah, not a whole lot with just one spot left open, and teams pretty much in the tank for Zion Williams right now.
And I mean, honestly, the team that's going to end up with Zion Williamson will be the last team people expect.
You reach that point in the season where teams and players basically create injuries to sit on a bench with. Oh, speaking of creating injuries to sit on a bench, Anthony Davis flipping off the Pelican fans.
Wait, he actually flipped off the Pelican fans?
Oh, yeah, he got fined for it, like several $1,000s too.
When did he do that?
A few days ago, like 5 or 6 days ago. Just
I think it was wasn't it after they lost to Charlotte?
I want to say yeah. He just flipped off Pelican fans.
So it wasn't no thank you AD for take a bow. Thank you, Pelican fans, for giving me the opportunity to play for y'all. Thank you for good years. And
this whole thing was a complete and total disaster, and it's his and LeBron's fault.
Yeah, LeBron kind of put some messages in his head about, hey, you need to come play for me. And then pretty much the Pelicans gave the Lakers the finger. And also they gave AD the finger by keeping him.
You know what? I'm sorry. I need to give credit where credit is due. I forgot. I left out Yahoo Sports.
Yeah. The media has their own agenda, so they're going to, put out whatever they want to put out.
So, yeah. Between LeBron, AD, and Yahoo Sports.
I'm not going to put any blame on management.
Oh, no,
because the management, the management, they're thinking about their future. So I feel that they made the right move by keeping AD the rest of the season. That way, they can probably get a lot more.
They can get a better deal.
They can get a much better deal. And not only that, when they get that better deal, because let's talk about the deal that the Lakers tried to offer. Magic offered them Kyle Kuzma, Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, and some draft picks for Anthony Davis. I mean, first things first, why would I want to trade the face of my franchise for a bunch of players who's not going to even stay on my team past this season because they'll be unrestricted? So why would I want to trade the face of my franchise for players that don't even want to stay for the long haul? If I'm
Yeah,
going to trade,
absolutely.
if I'm going to trade the face of my franchise, I want some quality players that I know is going to be on my team for the next 3 to 4 seasons or for the next 5, whatever type of contract the Pelicans come up with. If I'm going to trade the face of my franchise, I want a guy that's in for the long haul. I want a guy that's going to be here for my team and is going to be down for us unless something goes haywire. And that's why I feel that the Pelicans are definitely going to trade him for the number 1 pick in the draft. And so nobody's been talking about it, but Anthony Davis is probably he's going to be probably the highest free agent on the market this summer. Okay? Stay with me now. The draft lottery is going to happen. And whoever gets the number 1 pick will be receiving a call from the New Orleans Pelicans saying, hey, do y'all want Anthony Davis? Sure. Okay, give us the number 1 pick in the draft, and he's yours. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, no one's been talking about it, but there is a strong possibility if the Pelicans play their cards right, Zion Williamson might be coming to New Orleans.
Yeah, but why would you trade Zion Williams for someone who's been in the league, already 7-8 years?
Who's going to turn down Anthony Davis? I don't know of any team who will be willing to turn down Anthony Davis.
Okay, I'll give you that, but at the same time, it's like
I'm trying to think. Well, I mean, I know
Zion can easily be the next Anthony Davis.
I'm thinking you got a right perspective, but I'm thinking about from the point of view of other managers and owners. No one's going to turn down a chance to get Anthony Davis. I mean, you look at LeBron James. I mean, he's been in the league for 15 years and he hasn't missed a beat.
No.
Well, I mean, he might have lost a step, like a half step or one, but LeBron James is still at the top of his game, and he's playing some of the best basketball in his career.
This past season with the Lakers, I would have to disagree with that.
Well, I mean, excluding this past season because he was plagued by injuries and it was just a complete disaster.
Just
and
how far are we from old man James?
Honestly, I would say not too far. It all depends on how much longer LeBron's willing to stay in the league.
You think he's going to play until he falls apart?
I think so. He's not going to retire just like that. I think he's going to gradually step away from the game. But I think it's going to come a time where he's going to, instead of playing, he's going to try and start focusing on getting his sons ready. Because his sons, I mean, are, look who they come from. They come from LeBron. They have the love of the game just like he does. Yeah. So
it'll be interesting to see if LeBron ever plays with one of his sons. That would just be kind of, how cute.
How cute. I mean, Ken Griffey did it.
Yeah.
The Griffeys did it in baseball.
The Griffeys did do it.
On the same team, I believe.
Yeah, one season with the Mariners.
Yeah.
There's been a few.
But I mean, how cool it is to be playing a professional sport with your dad. Like, you go from, like, when you were a little kid and, you're shooting the ball in the court, or you're throwing a football or baseball around, just in the park having fun, like, spending time with dad and spending time with my son. And now y'all both getting paid millions together, playing together. How cool would that be?
Yeah. Ew. So, I lost my train of thought. But, yeah, that's right. So what do you think is the future for LeBron? Do you think it's Mr. LeBron or Coach Bron?
What was the other option other than Coach LeBron?
Like go the MJ route. Mr. LeBron or Coach LeBron?
I think it's going to be Mr. LeBron. I don't think he's going to coach. I mean, if anything, if he retires, he's probably going to take up coaching duties with, his son's teams. Probably putting more of a helping hand as far as coaching his sons up. But I think there's a bigger possibility for Mr. LeBron because, like LeBron has said, he's always wanted to be an NBA owner. He's always wanted to own his own team. So I think it'll be a Mr. LeBron.
Okay.
As far as coaching, he does better just being on the court. Like, he's like a coach on the court for his players. So, I mean, He's LeBron James, but he's also Coach LeBron for the Lakers as well.
Do you think he buys out Brown? Cleveland? You think he buys Cleveland?
I think he does.
Or at least partial ownership into the Cavaliers?
Because who's not going to want to play for LeBron?
I know. Oh, that should be interesting. Mr. LeBron, owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Sounds cool. Nice little ring to it.
Well, that about does it for this episode. If we were to continue on, I think we'd just be coming up with things to talk about that aren't really interesting. So, with the season wrapping up for the NBA and the college season all but over, I say thank you for listening to this episode of Basketball Street Beat. I'm John Behrens.
Before I end out, I just want to say rest in peace to rapper and entrepreneur Nipsey Hussle, who was just killed in front of his store in California. I mean, I didn't mean to bring up sad news, but I mean he was very impactful in his community and those that loved him. So I just want to kind of take this time out to say rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle. I didn't say it last week, but it just crossed my mind. Praying for his family and praying for his wife and kids. And I'm Joshua Perkins, by the way.
Okay. Well, you can find us on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. This has been an AI Sports Production, signing out.